Okay, ready to go.
All right, that's great. So it is 4:05. I'll call the meeting to order. I want to begin by thanking everybody for always making time for this. We truly appreciate it. We ask everyone who is not speaking to please mute your phones. Everyone is on mute right now except for Eric and Jeff. So if you can, I appreciate it if you can mute. And we'll go to the clerk for a roll call for attendance, please.
Mayor Alorza,
Present.
Mr. Lombardi,
Mr. Lombardi?
Present, sorry.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Present.
Ms. Silveria,
Present.
Mr. Casillo, absent. Mr. Hirsch, absent. Mr. Winkleman,
Here.
5 present, 2 absent. You have a quorum.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody. Jeff, we can still hear that clicking noise coming from your line.
Yeah, it's Jeff.
If you
Is that
can
better?
mute. No.
I'll just,
My phone was on mute. So it's strange that it still can be heard. And you can still hear it now?
yeah.
Yes.
Can you hang up and call back in?
Or
I
can
can
can one of the hosts just mute Jeff?
I can mute him, Mayor, yes. And then, yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
And then,
All right.
and then when he wants to speak, he can unmute himself.
Don't mess with Sherry. She got a lot of power that she's wielding.
Watch out.
Now we know. All right.
right.
So we'll head to agenda item number 1, investment performance analysis. We'll pass it over to Eric. Take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, everyone. You should all, it's nice to hear from you, and glad we can get together here for this update. If you would, as normal, please look to page 1 of your monthly investment performance and manager review, and we can look at the flash report that updates the portfolio through the 17th of July, which is last Friday. So you can see that the portfolio continues to recover. The rally continues, as we have talked about and expected in recent meetings. And as you can see, we're up another 2.3% month to date, bringing the portfolio back down to 6% down for the year. So going in the right direction, things continue. You can see that the value growth differential is still huge, very large, historic, as a matter of fact, and we've talked about that in recent meetings. But as I go down and as you look at the returns year to date for the various asset classes, you'll see that. So one way to grasp it is to look at the second line on your report. The Vanguard Value Index Fund, that's just a passive large cap value fund. That's down 12% year to date. And the Russell 1000 Growth, right under it, that's a passive large cap growth fund. That's up 14.7. So, and throughout mid cap, you see the same thing, and throughout small cap, and you see it internationally as well. Growth is not only up, it's up very, very nicely year to date. And value is not only underperforming, but it's down noticeably year to date. Again, the widest spread that we've ever seen, and you've never seen it with plus, one up and one down this much. Usually when there's a spread, they're both going in the same direction. One is outperforming the other, but this is unusual in that one is up so much year to date, and the other asset classes, the value classes, are down so much year to date. So that continues to be the case, and you see it throughout the portfolio. We see it with other institutional portfolios. Again, this is not just true domestically. This is true internationally. But nonetheless, everything has been going up lately as the economy has recovered. There has been some good economic news for sure. There's been some bad economic news as well in the Sun Belt. There's been some reversals of openings in California, Arizona, Texas, Florida. There's been some reversals, and you'll probably see that in the data. That will slow down the national recovery, perhaps throw some negative numbers into the mix. But markets in general are sort of looking past this, to be honest. They're looking 6 months out, 9 months out, a year out. And they're thinking that both the news on the therapeutics, monoclonal antibodies, as well as vaccines has been good. And when we get some good announcements in recent days and weeks, for example, since our last meeting, when a company such as Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson or Moderna or others report promising news on their phase 1, 2, or 3 studies for their vaccines, let's say, or for their therapeutics, the market goes up. And so it does want to see that. And but it doesn't like the surge in infections as well that we see across those previously mentioned states. So you have opposing forces. One other thing, and that is driving the behavior of markets in general and your portfolio. The other thing that you should be aware of that is beginning to affect, there are 2 other things, the portfolio and the relative behavior is there's a very large fiscal stimulus package that is being negotiated right now. The market believes that's going to happen to one degree or another, and it has been pricing that in. It's going to be at least $1 trillion. It's probably going to be maybe $1.5 trillion or somewhere in that range. Could be more, I suppose, but it's going to be at least $1 trillion. And there's going to be many hundreds of billions for states and other municipalities. There'll be money for hospitals. There'll be an extension of unemployment benefits. There'll be some more checks, direct stimulus checks to the mid to lower income classes as well. That's going to occur. There'll be some other things in there. So the market is pricing that in. That probably won't get passed until early August. But it's something is coming. That's a high probability, and it's going to be extremely large. So that's going to matter both now and in the future for the next 12 or 6 or 12 months for sure. What the market is about to start paying attention to is the election. Traditionally, it starts to focus on that in August, and I think that's going to hold again this year. So in the coming weeks, coming 2 to 4 to 6, 8 weeks, I think markets will begin to be exhibiting volatility based on the elections and announced policies, spending and healthcare policies, tax policies, etc. So that will move markets. And so I think we should expect the type of volatility that we've seen in recent meetings, recent weeks and months. I think that's going to continue right up through the end of the year and through the election. Nonetheless, markets have been going our way. The portfolio has been going our way, and we've had a solid return month to date. Now, later this afternoon, as you look at your flash report, you see you're over 300 million in the estimate. That's good. Later this afternoon, 7.5 million will be going out of the portfolio for the standard monthly benefits. We also have some cash that just came in the other day from just the other day actually from the city. So there will be some cash that is pulled out of the portfolio on net by the end of the day. But nonetheless, we're very close to our long-term targets. We made rebalancing in a recent meeting, as you know, so we'll be okay until the next need arises to rebalance, which would be over the next month or 2 or so as contributions are made. But for today, there's no need to have a rebalancing recommendation. and I'd be glad to go over any questions on the markets or the individual managers at this time.
Eric, I appreciate the report. Just a quick question. Is it your sense that that President Trump is still viewed favorably in terms of the market?
Yes, Mayor. On sort of holding my own political views aside, yes. And it's just mostly math, just direct math, and that is cutting taxes helps the net present value of stocks, because if you recall, just very quickly to more fully answer your question, the corporate tax rate was 35%. Imagine a bank stock, they were paying full freight. They were paying 35 cents. So every $100 of pre-tax earnings, before the tax cut, they were keeping 65. After the tax cut, when the rate was cut to 21, they were keeping 79. So that $65 went to 79. That was a $14 increase. That was over 20%, well over 20%. That was priced into markets in 2017. If taxes are raised, in this case, corporate taxes are raised from 21 to 28% or some number around there, then that $79 would fall to 72 or 70 or something like that, and that would get priced in. However, I think much of the stuff, markets will go up anyways, Mayor, regardless of who wins eventually. The path the market takes may be different, but I think it's going to go up no matter who wins, and that is because of what we've spoken about already, and that is the fiscal stimulus and the monetary stimulus are so gigantic that it will swamp these other policy initiatives by either candidate. That's my opinion, and so those things are so big that I think markets will go up no matter who wins.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments for Eric? Okay, if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to accept his investment performance analysis as just given. Is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
So moved. Second,
So moved by
Councilman
Chairman
Igliozzi.
Councilman Winkleman, seconded by Commissioner Igliozzi. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Sorry, are there any opposed? Okay, great. The motion carries and the investment performance analysis is accepted. We'll move on to matter number 2, discussion relative to Dexter donation fund and other accounts. Back to you, Eric.
Thank you, Mayor. If you turn to your other presentation, investment performance and review for the Dexter donation and other trusts, and if you turn to page 1 of that, you will see, for example, first one we always look at is the Dexter Donation Trust, updated to the 17th. You can see that it is up 3.4% month to date, has more equity, and down only 3.2% year to date. Again, more equity, less fixed income, different types of exposures, but it's a more volatile portfolio in both directions. But you can see where they are. The same comments that I would have made before would apply here to these these managers, to the and to the value and growth commentary that I gave earlier as well. We have no recommendations for any changes at this time with these exposures.
Any questions, any comments for Eric? All right. If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to accept his report relative to the Dexter Donation Fund and other trust accounts. Is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
So moved. Second by Councilman Igliozzi.
So moved by Commissioner Winkleman, seconded by Councilman Igliozzi. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We'll move on to matter number 3, discussion relative to claims and litigation. As solicitor, I understand there are no issues to discuss relative to claims and litigation. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to continue matter number 3 till our next investment commissioners meeting. Is there a motion?
So move.
You got the trifecta, Commissioner. So, moved
Do I
by
get a
Commissioner
prize?
Winkleman. Yes. Yes. That's actually built into the rules. Is there a second?
Second.
Wow, the trifecta, double. Seconded by Commissioner Igliozzi. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any opposed? All right, there are none opposed. The motion carries. The matter is continued. At this point, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Why not?
You guys are messing with my head right now. This is crazy. Commissioner Winkleman motions, Commissioner Igliozzi seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.